Ever since I was a child, I looked up to my dad as a role model. When I was thinking about one word to describe my dad, the word that came to mind was motivator. My dad is a positive inspiration in my life who is always motivating me to do my best. He sets me up to be successful and is always available to help me. He has spent countless hours driving my brothers and I around town to baseball, tennis, basketball practices, going to our games, coaching, or buying new equipment because something is always broken in a house of three boys. I was never the best athlete when I was younger, but my dad was always there and willing to help me practice. From 1st to 4th grade at Stewart Hall, I was on the chess team. And for those 4 years, my dad, who knew nothing about chess, came with me to countless tournaments on the weekends. Looking back on it, he must have been so bored, sitting in a room for hours on end, just waiting for me to end my match. But nonetheless, he was there. He would help me strategize before every game, was my buddy in between breaks, making sure I never got bored, and always congratulated me when I won. I remember one of my favorite parts about those days was the joy of finding my dad after a match just to tell him that I had won because it made him happy to see me succeed. My dad does a great job of always being eager to help me, without standing over my shoulder, watching me do all my Mr. Lin homework. I can tell that he is preparing me for the real world by always teaching me how to be self-sufficient, whether it's showing me how to pump air into my car tires because they always used to go flat, or trying to teach me how to tie a tie, which we're still working on because every time he tries to teach me, I'm in a rush. But along with being ready to help, he pushes and motivates me to always do my best. For example, last week I had to write an essay for a scholarship application. I wrote a rough draft and showed it to him to edit. He called me a few minutes later, and without explicitly telling me it was bad, he told me it was pretty bad. So, he gave me a few pointers on how to fix it and then sent it back for me to rewrite. Once I revised it, I brought it back to him, and he told me how good of an improvement it was and told me I did a good job. My dad always tells me that I did a good job or that he's proud of me when I do something worth it. These words continue to motivate me. Soon, I will be going to college, and I won't get to hear them as often as I'll be away from home. However, I know that I will continue to make my dad proud by working hard because it's the example he set for me. If there was one phrase that I could best describe my dad as a motivator, it's to finish strong. As long as I can remember, he said these words to me. Whether it's in the 4th quarter, the end of a game, more recently my 2nd semester of senior year, or near the end of literally anything, he has said it. These words are so important because they remind me that I always need to try my hardest, even when the stakes aren't as high. I'm going to miss having my dad around next year as a mentor. I'm going to miss having him around as a friend. I'm going to miss his stupid dad jokes that he always makes that he thinks are hilarious, even though they're not really that funny. I'm going to miss him asking me how my day went, talking to me about any new football or basketball news, his encouraging pep talks, and seeing him every day. He is a great dad, and even though I'll miss all these things, he'll always be an awesome motivator, an amazing friend, and I don't know what I'd do without him. Dad, I love you.